Deck that I played in Heirloom today, and I just wanted to go over and give a quick deck tech. Hello, and thank you for watching, by the way. So this is a Eureka deck, and this is the first time I played Eureka in an event, and I barely played with it at all. In general, I played with it in Cube, but this is the first time I built a deck around it, and it was a lot of fun. I just wanted to share it. Eureka is this crazy old card. It's kind of like show and tell, but it just keeps going. So it's not you put one thing into play, your opponent puts one thing into play. It's you put permanents into play until both players are done putting permanents into play. So if you have permanents in your hand, you can put them all into play. So it's kind of a crazy card, and in order to break the symmetry of this effect, I'm putting in these giant creatures, Storm-Tide Leviathan and Blazing Archon, which say that other creatures are not able to attack me. So Storm-Tide Leviathan is basically a moat. It turns off attacking for ground creatures and creatures without Island Walk. So it's more like Island Sanctuary than moat. But it's built into an 8/8 creature that can attack and is unblockable because it turns all lands into islands, and it has Island Walk. So it's amazing. And Blazing Archon is amazing. It says that creatures can't attack me at all. So these will both stop any crazy creatures that my opponent wants to put into play with Eureka. Then I have Platinum Angel to stop the automatic win conditions someone might have, such as Laboratory Maniac. Mere Battlesphere, because it's one of my absolute favorite cards of all time. So you'll see Mere Battlesphere in a lot of my decks, sometimes where it shouldn't be. So there's one of in this deck. Sphinx of the Steel Wind, because there are a lot of red decks and a lot of green decks in this format, and I wanted the life gain. I wanted to be able to put something down that is just, it has a lot of abilities. It's a 6/6 card, and it's going to win me games. I know it's going to win me games because it's awesome, and red is in this format like mad, and this stops red. This just shuts it down. You can't kill me with direct damage because I'm going to gain life. You can't kill me with all those creatures because it's got vigilance, and it's going to block, and it has first strike, and it has lifelink, and it has protection. It is insane. It's a nuts card, and it's like pennies on Magic Online. So we've got that. We've got the Reanimate package. Reanimate and Animate Dead. I've got a total of 7 of these Reanimate spells, and then Buried Alive to get more creatures into the graveyard so I can reanimate them. And then Living Death, which is kind of a trump card. If things go badly and I've got a bunch of creatures in my graveyard, I can just put them all into play. It's amazing. This one is Demonic Tutor with Wings, and I wanted to have that in here because it's Demonic Tutor. And Sheoldred gives me value out of my creatures, putting more of them into play and causing my opponent to have to sacrifice theirs. So it's kind of a cool card, and I wanted to run it. I'm not sure it's one of the better ones in here, but it's definitely a cool card, and it's black and 7 mana, so in worst case scenario I could cast it. I'm looking at playing 7 mana spells, 3 more manas, 3 more turns. I can just cast this. And then I had to have at least one Eldrazi, and I went with this one because of the Annihilator, and it's hard to block. I thought about the new Kozilek, but I'm not going to be casting it, and this just seemed really cool. So I put one Eldrazi in here. Tolarian Winds is in here because it will let me fill up my graveyard, and it seems to have good synergy with Psycatog. I know it's a bad card, I know it's card disadvantage, but in this particular show, I think it works. My sideboard over here is mostly anti-red. I've got Chill, which is going to slow down any red decks. It's just, spells cost 2 more to cast is a big deal. Flash Freeze, which is a nice little 2-mana counterspell. Negate, which will stop the control decks and let me resolve a Eureka, in theory. Hibernation for the Elves player. Propaganda, which will keep things from attacking me yet again. So again, this format's pretty aggro. So Propaganda, Storm-Tide Leviathan, Blazing Archon, these cards will all stop those aggro decks and slow them down to a point where I'm going to be able to play stuff. And then there's Braids, and Braids is going to come in if I think that my opponent's going to bring in Graveyard Hate. So if I look like a Reanimate deck, My opponent is probably going to bring in Graveyard Hate. I'm going to bring in Braids. And I'm just going to put these crazy haymakers into play straight from my hand. And that's my plan. And I'm going to get replays up so you can watch it in action. It's a lot of fun and it should be good times. I'm going to put music on the replays. I'm not going to be talking because it's really hard for me to find a quiet spot in my house with my 4-year-old running around, so it's real hard for me to get voice on these videos. So I'm going to put music on them and just play them through and hope you enjoy them. Thanks for watching. Bye.